second felony offender. Decent behavior with a juvenile, 4/20/2015. You had 10 years DOC, the first two without benefit of probation or parole. Your parole date was 6/29/2018, and good time not eligible, full term of 6/29/2023. Today, this case is assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise, and also on the board today is Ms. Pearl Wise, Mr. Alvin Roche. My name is Jim Wise. I'll be chair. We're going to be asking you some questions, give you a chance to address the board, and the board will come back with its decision. At this time, you would answer Ms. Pearl Wise.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How's it going?
It's pretty good, ma'am.
Good, good. I see that you have a disability. You're disabled. What's the nature of your disability?
I have HIV.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry to hear that, but you're working and whatnot, huh?
I have my moments, but I try as best as I can.
Okay, you're on light duty?
Currently, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, good. And I see you have six. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I did have some other jobs since I've been here, so I do want to work, but like I said, I'm limited to some work I can do. Some of the jobs I've had here was a carpentry tutor, for example.
Oh, good. Well, with COVID-19 and your pre-existing condition, I can understand, the caution on the part of the staff, the facility. I see you have 16 years of education, so tell me about that.
Well, 16 years.
That's what I saw. 16 years of education is what they show. Let me look. Yeah.
Well, I have education from Ontario Business College in Canada for accounting and business administration. I have 1 year university, was basically physics and calculus. And then here I got 3 diplomas in carpentry.
All right,
From
great.
Baton Rouge Community College.
Great. Good. I do want to inform you, as a part of this process, we reach out to the legal community to get their opinion, and there is some opposition to your early release. The DA's office and the sheriff's office. Nothing you can do about it. I'm just informing you that that's information that we have in reaching our decision. So now, sir, you were put on parole, right? For this charge?
No, ma'am. I had a parole hearing in 2017. It was denied.
Okay. So you are listed as a second offender. You were on supervision in the past.
Yes, ma'am. I had a drug addiction felony conviction in 2002 for distribution of cocaine. I served my 5 years of that. After that, though, I became really involved on my own as a volunteer in the community. I'm a member of the Knights of Columbus. I'm a member of the Gideon's International. I'm a chairman of the Committee for Charity and Social Justice. I volunteer in food banks, and I help out those in need.
Great. But I have in my notes, though, that you had a poor supervision history because you failed to report and they terminated you on SAC. So you weren't on supervision when you committed this current offense?
I don't believe I was. The only thing I had at the time was I failed a urine test, and my probation officer put me through an alcoholic and drug addiction clinic for 7 months.
Oh, okay.
Every other one I reported. Then maybe that was when I changed parole officers, when I changed my address. I don't know.
Okay, well, well, that was a criminal mischief matter. That's what it was while you was on supervision. Okay. It was a misuse of the 911 system. That's what it was. Okay,
that was when some kids were breaking up my windows, and the officers didn't respond. I just kept calling.
Okay, and you didn't pay your fees. They terminated you on SAC. They didn't revoke you. They didn't revoke you for that. You didn't pay your fees or court costs or your probation fees. Okay.
I paid the $25 fee to the to people in Houma.
Yeah, but that's a monthly thing, sir. It's not a one-time fee. It's a monthly thing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now I saw where you played in the band. So tell me what instrument. Where I found that as I further read, I realized you are a 3-instrument man, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
You're very talented in the music, and
well, I've been playing my whole life.
And good. I saw where you personally donated to the music department. I want to commend you on that. You provided some instruments or something, huh?
Like I say, it always helps, always helps.
Yes, sir. That's really good. Now, now in discussing your current offense, what do you have to tell? I
Well,
really don't have a question. I just need to understand.
I completed all of the 4 phases as required, and I've taken a lot of other classes too to help my overcome my addictions. I've facilitated a couple. I've facilitated the one that relates to my charge, and I've also facilitated the AA meetings, which I find are very helpful.
Okay. Okay. So, what was your drug of choice?
Alcohol.
Okay. How long that's been going on?
It has it comes and goes whenever, I don't know.
Well, what age you first started?
Young, I was about 13.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, tell me why I should vote to let you out early.
Well, I'll give you an example of not only all the stuff that I've done as required, and something, I acknowledge that what I did was extremely wrong. My behavior was inappropriate. I did read a victim statement the last time I was here, but my victim wasn't there. I've heard a lot of people. I've made a lot of changes in my life. I no longer crave any more alcohol, although I find the AA symptoms very good. I'm staying out of trouble. I have an exit plan. A good thing came up with my residential plan. One of them failed, but then I contacted the faith-based community in the Thibodeau, and they found me an address. If things work out, I'll be staying with a member of the Gideons International and continue with some part of the ministry up to Angola and some other prison ministries that they do. That will keep me out of trouble, along with the skills I picked up in here that will keep me occupied and out of trouble, man.
Do you have anything in writing about this residential plan? I didn't see anything in the file.
That's because it just happened. My other residential plan, the back taxes weren't paid on the property. So when we contacted the faith-based community in Thibodeau, they just recently came up. I had the address for the person, and he's also a member of Bio Interfaith Social Community Organization, and we used to volunteer in food banks, and I used to help him out as the Gideons.
Oh,
His
good,
address-
good. Okay, I got that. Thank you. How
Yeah,
much
right.
time have you served total on this charge, sir?
Almost 7.5 years.
Okay, that's all I had, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Roche.
Mr. Stickle, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Stickle, you were 49 years old at the time of the offense. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And you approached a 12-year-old child.
Yes, sir.
Knowing that this child was vulnerable, he wanted to help his mother out. He wanted to buy a video game, and you took advantage of it.
And I apologize for that, sir. I was not in my
So-
right mind.
I didn't ask for an apology. I just asked for an answer.
Yes, sir.
And this is repulsive. And you've been on probation once, or supervision of some type, and you fail to report as directed. You fail to pay your fines. You fail to pay cost of court. You fail to pay probation fees. And you were terminated unsatisfactorily. So why should I put you back on supervision, knowing that you're not going to do what you're supposed to do.
So when I was released from probation, the judge said to forget about the fines. He was just impressed that I'd stayed out of trouble for 5 years. He told me to let the money go. The money wasn't the important thing. The important thing was that I still stayed out of trouble.
But the important thing is you didn't report to your parole officer.
That was over a misunderstanding, I believe, for that I wasn't aware of, but I had to report.
Mr. Sticker, you have an excuse for everything.
So I'm just trying to give you an answer, sir.
Okay. All right.
I did to the best of my ability. My ability, I was on disability at the time. I still am. Sometimes, well, the cost got to me. There is no excuse.
Oh, no.
I failed. I did, sir. And I promise not to do it in the future if given the opportunity to prove myself.
You have law enforcement opposition. The DA office is opposed. The sheriff's office is opposed. What other programs have you completed other than sex offender treatment?
I've done the substance abuse education. I've celebrated recovery, which is a scripture orientated. I've done Drug Dealers Anonymous. I've done recovery dynamics, relapse prevention, cage your age, anger management, living in balance. I've completed the 2-year program in faith-based and character. That's a lot of discipleship classes, and it's a lot of, well, I'm a Catholic, so I did a lot of studying for that. And
Okay.
in my spare time, I offer all my spare time to the chapel and practicing music and playing for the other offenders.
Warren Booty, would you like to make any remarks or comments?
I have nothing further to say other than what you got in front of you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roche. At this time, I would like for his sister to speak on his behalf.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you good. Anything you have to say on his behalf?
Yes, hi, I'm Rena, I'm Brian's sister. I just listened closely to what everyone said, and it is a horrible thing that happened. And we're also very upset, but I also know my brother, and he's a very kind, very talented man who has a great heart. And I believe due to alcohol, it has impacted his life to a point that is not my brother anymore. But now that I know that he's completed all these courses and we talk every week with him, I know if you guys grant him parole, he will do everything in his power. And so will we, to help him and to assist him to make sure that he stays an upstanding citizen. I know that's what he wants. He's getting up there in age as well. I know he's not old. I'm a couple years older than him. But he does have HIV, and it's very, very dangerous for him also to be incarcerated because his immune system is not the best. And that really, really scares us, myself and my mother, who's sitting next to me here. But I know if he was given a chance with everything that he's done and all his studies and rehabilitation, and if he goes back to Thibodeau, where Pastor Shirley and everybody is, I know he'll do nothing but good for the rest of his life. And we miss him dearly, and we really hope that you grant him parole. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, Mr. Chad Deal, victim will speak at this time. Mr. Chad, can you hear me? If you would, unmute your mic. Ms. Renee, mute your mic back.
Remote, okay. How? Oh, God.
All righty, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, Chad, go ahead.
All righty. So the reason I'm in opposition is you got to think about it. I was a 12-year-old boy, and this man took advantage of me. And there's no bright side to this. An older man took advantage of a younger boy and is now serving his time for it. I personally do not believe he should be given anytime soon any kind of free or parole or anything, simply because of the fact of the trauma that it has caused me. I grew up thinking, like, I want to say a lot of older men were like that. I was always afraid to go near like older people or older men. I honestly developed a fear, and it's going to sound pretty stupid, but a genuine fear of facial hair for a little bit of time. But if I may, I'm sorry, it's a special day for me. If I can hear him apologize and just admit to the fact that he has done all these things, I understand he, in the eyes of the court, he has, but to me as a person, I the past few times whenever he's been in court, I've never been present because I have never felt comfortable talking or being seen by this man. And yes, I chose to oppose this, but if I can physically hear him apologize and understand the fact that all of this was wrong, I might change my mind, because yes, he's getting up there in age, and yes, he is disabled. So I don't think somebody as old as that should deserve to rot in jail. Yes, I understand he deserves to be in there quite a while. It is a very horrific act to abuse a child like that. But I don't believe everyone deserves to die in jail. That's all I
Okay.
have to say.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, no other questions there. We're going to be starting off with Mr. Roche will be voting at this time. I mean, Ms. Pearl will be voting at this time.
All right, Mrs. Stucco, did you have?
Hold on 1 second, Ms. Pearl. Ms. Pearl, hold on
Yes,
1 second. At this time, sir, would you like to make a statement before we vote?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'd like to,
Mr. Stickle.
yes, sir. I would like to actually apologize to Mr. Chad. Something that I wrote down, and it took me a while to write, so it is really, really from my heart. I wrote down this, and it took some consideration. I really, damage I did can never be undone. I pray that you and everyone affected by my actions are recovering. My behavior was inexcusable. I sincerely apologize from the deepest part of my heart. I also applaud you for your courage in reporting this, and hope you can share with others for the purposes of prevention, so no one else will feel the way that I made you feel. This, of course, never happened again to anybody else. I'm so very sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, Ms. Pearl Wise will be voting.
Mrs. Stucco, Mrs. Stucco, I have read. You have, I was a little surprised to hear the victim was opposed, because the report that we had said the victim was unopposed. So that's got me kind of off. So you said you've had a hearing before. When were you before a parole board before? Do you remember? I don't have those records.
It was in 2017,
It was
December.
in
Yes, ma'am.
It was December 2017. Okay. Well, Mrs. Stokel, in view of you are a Pride member, you have a low Tiger score, You've completed all other requirements, all phases of the sex offender treatment program that we've asked. And you've done well in the community. I'm gonna take a chance on you. And this is your second hearing. My vote is to grant. And you'll be ordered to all of the sex offender mandates. By law, you'll be ordered to cooperate with them.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
taking a chance on you, sir, but my vote is to grant.
Mr. Roche,
Mrs. Stucco.
Yes,
Based upon very strong opposition from the DA's office, opposition from the sheriff's office, victim opposition, and a very poor supervision performance the last time you were on supervision, my vote is to deny your request.
Yes, sir.
okay, at this time, I'm going to be voting. My vote is to deny victims' opposition, your poor supervision history, and also law enforcement opposition is against your release. So today, you've been denied. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Just wait in there, we got some paperwork for you to sign.
10-year sentence. A 10-year sentence. You just can't make it up. Louisiana. This man who has HIV does this to a 12-year-old boy, and they give him 10 years. They're very hypocritical clowns, you know. You'll read in the articles what they say, how the DA is like, oh, we're here to protect our community. I'll read that to you in a little bit. Thank you, Claire, for again showing one that needs to be shown to the world. And you have his was it his sister saying, oh, he needs to get out, and oh, he's gonna be great. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you saying? And then while the survivor is speaking, in my opinion, what I saw was her rolling her eyes and making faces and talking. Show some respect. Listen to what he has to say. Where's your humanity? It's unbelievable. So there's people that just make you just say, how can this be real? A homeless man accused of doing this to a child younger than 13. We're going to go in order of days. This was 2013, where he pled not guilty. 51 years old, is charged with 2 counts of aggravated, of a juvenile in late June, and faces mandatory life in prison. This is what he's facing: mandatory life without probation or parole. On Wednesday, a grand jury indicted him, and he was arraigned on Thursday. Stickle was a friend of the victim's family and lived in a wooded area near the home in the 200 block. He lured the child into the woods to hunt with the bow and arrow. You know, that's what would a 12-year-old boy want to do more than go into the woods and hunt with the bow and arrow? But instead, he was sexually assaulted by a man with HIV. Stickle had also sexually assaulted this child a few weeks earlier and gave him money. Court documents do not reveal the gender. Okay, they did not reveal it there, but we know now. Here he is. Then, here we'll go into our wonderful DAs and how they protect us. A homeless man will spend 10 years in prison after pleading guilty Monday to indecent behavior with a juvenile. They let him plead down to indecent behavior. Brian Stickle, 51, was set to stand trial on aggravated, which, if convicted, he would have spent life. Now, the Paris District Attorney said that prosecutors want to keep offenders from society as long as possible, but the victim is the first priority. In this case, accepting a plea bargain was the best way to accommodate both of those concerns. These ads. In June 2013, he sexually assaulted a 12-year-old son of a family he was friends with. He lured the victim into the woods where he lived near them to teach him how to shoot a bow and arrow. Before that, they said that they had done it in a room and gave him money. First Assistant District Attorney Christine Russell said that the defense attorney, Matthew Ory, handled the case. State District Judge LeBlanc sentenced Stickle. Sometimes what's best for the victim is to go forward with trial, and sometimes it's best to work something out and avoid putting the victim on the stand, said Russell. Now, we've been through this a whole bunch, right? I do get that there are cases where, and in this case, it might be the case. You know, the survivor, he said it here, you know, that he couldn't bear to see his face, for him to see his own face. And maybe this is one of those cases where, for the survivor, you don't do that. And by the way, I do want to point out, if you notice how he wasn't on the Zoom, his video wasn't on, and that's because Louisiana always gives the option for anyone who is getting up to speak, except for the inmate, of course, to keep their camera off. And when they turn their camera on, they do know that it's being streamed on YouTube, but I still blur their face in many cases, just in case, just as extra precaution. But I just wanted to point that out. And maybe this is a case where where, you know, but there are other cases we know for certain, because we have seen the survivor come on and make a statement and say, I wanted to take this to trial. The DA refused. They would only give a plea deal. And so we've seen that too. The DAs spew, and you cannot believe everything they say. They can also, remember the trauma that a child is in. And often they don't understand what's going on, and the parents don't understand, and they can massage them to do whatever deal they want on the table, because they just want to move their court systems along. They don't want the backlog of a trial. But again, when you're holding a royal flush or a strong hand, like they were in this case, and why do you only give 10 years? Why don't you give a longer sentence? I'm glad that the parole board denied Miss Wise. This case was just another one of her awful cases, I think. I mean, even in the final statement, she said, I'm confused, where the victim said that it wasn't in opposition, but it is. That confuses me. It's like, did you not just hear the survivor speak? Like, Miss Wise, did you not just hear that? Like, your statement made no sense. That didn't make any sense. And it was insulting to the survivor who just spoke. It's bizarre. But this is why we do these hearings, so we can see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and think again clear. But with that,